1-0 victory for Barcelona, and they extend that lead 9 points now ahead of Real Madrid in La Liga. Let's talk first about this game for Barcelona. Not the prettiest of games. It was a strange game as well. The injury to Lamine Yamal, there was a stoppage towards the end of the first half with something that's happening in the stands with a fan, a medical issue. We'll wish them well. So it did kind of make this game a bit strange. It was extended out. This team does look a bit tired, like they've played all of the fixtures that they've played. They obviously just got eliminated from the Champions League as well. But they found a way, and that's how you win trophies in this sport, by finding a way even when things are not going your way.
Yeah, when you're a spectacular performer like Lamine Yamal is, you always tend to find a way to be able to be the star, the superstar, the match winner, the difference maker. And that's exactly what Lamine Yamal is to FC Barcelona right now. Even at his young age, at 18 years old, he is still the difference maker for Barcelona, finding a way to put points on the board, finding a way to win a penalty kick first and foremost, finding a way to step up and then take the penalty kick, and unfortunately finding a way to pick up an injury on that PK. First and foremost, I want to talk about his statistics. 151 games for Barcelona across all competitions. That was his 50th goal for the football club, which is truly special. He is one of a kind. I remind everyone else out there that this kid is only 18 years old. They got the job done, 10 shots, 3 on target. Lamine Yamal sealing the deal with his victory and his penalty kick. The injury is a major concern, not only for Barcelona going forward, but also obviously for Spain in the World Cup that's right around the corner. I mean, we're all there tapping on our computer left, right and centre, trying to get tickets for the World Cup, hoping that one day we get the opportunity to watch Lamine Yamal in person. Why? Because he's one of the greatest to have ever played already. He's 18 years old. Yeah. He's so unique. He's so different. He's so special. He just reminds me of a very young Lionel Messi. I'm just going to throw it out there. Messi maybe not as good as Lamine Yamal was at 18 years old. First and foremost, statistically, they would back me up that Yamal has achieved a lot more than Messi did at 18 years old. But then, obviously, Messi took off. Can Lamine Yamal take off? Well, injuries don't help you do that, though. And that is a major concern. We have no idea exactly what the injury is. We're all leaning towards possibly a muscle. We don't know exactly which muscle. We're seeing multiple reports out there on social media. I tend not to lean towards social media and reports that are coming out until I get official information. But it didn't look good to me. Yeah. If you look at the injury, first and foremost, he wins the penalty kick. Very poor challenge right there. Don't know what Lago is doing here. But he wins the penalty kick first and foremost, then steps up with absolutely all his force. Now, I thought at first and foremost he was going to miss this penalty kick. He didn't look confident. But then all of a sudden, he gets absolutely rattled. I don't think he picks up the injury there in the challenge. If anything, if that is the challenge that actually caused the injury, it would be a groin more than anything else. Yeah. But I actually think that he picked up the injury when he took it. Yeah. Clearly, if you look at the way his hand went behind his leg, it's leaning towards the hamstring. Again, I don't want to speculate, and I hate doing so, but it seems to me like you're pointing at me like you want to speculate, Stefano.
No, well, he grabs his left hamstring, though, so that's why it's weird. Again, we can't speculate. We can't speculate on the injuries.
Confirmed from Stefano Fusaro that it is a left hamstring injury.
Now, I'll say this, what we can confirm is that Spain is 54 days away from their first World Cup game, and things could change drastically if this injury is serious and he's not around for that game. Obviously, Barcelona fans are going to be worried about their club first and foremost as they try to wrap up La Liga. But if this is a serious injury, what does this mean for Spain in the World Cup? What does this mean for Barcelona in the last end of the season as they try to wrap up La Liga?
I mean, they've already wrapped up La Liga in my mind. I don't think there's any stress here, and probably it's come at a good time that Barcelona are no longer in the Champions League, right? Now you can rest, and I think for the Spanish national team, now they're maybe a little bit fortunate that they can rest Lamine Yamal and recover in time for the World Cup. Hamstring injuries nowadays, you can come back in 2-3 weeks. We saw Alphonso Davies 3 weeks prior to returning for Bayern Munich, all of a sudden playing in the Champions League after a hamstring injury is absolutely insane to me. And I'm speaking from experience. I tore or pulled my hamstring about 40 times in my career because I kept on coming back too quickly because obviously pressure to play, but also pressure on myself. I don't think there's as much pressure on Lamine Yamal to hurry this up. I think he just needs to take his time and focus on the big picture here. Barcelona are going to win that La Liga title, and they deserve to. And Lamine Yamal is a big reason for that. 16 goals now in La Liga, which is quite exceptional. For a Spanish player in particular, scoring La Liga goals in Barcelona jersey is quite special. Stefano, I'm going to put you on the spot here. You ready for this one? 16 La Liga goals now for Lamine Yamal. It is the most by a Spanish player in a Barcelona jersey outside of one player that did it previously, and that was 2010-2011. Which other Spanish player was it?
Oh, man.
3, 2, 1. David Villa. Good guess, Stefano. Thank you very much for playing along with me.
That's the fastest clock I've ever had there for
If he can achieve what David Villa has done in his career, not only for the national team, but also in club football, then great. But I think Lamine Yamal has already achieved so much, and he's going to achieve so much more. Handling injuries, dealing with injuries, this type of injury specifically, pushing the pressure to the side about playing early, making sure he focuses on the big picture here. I mean, he could be key to Spain winning the World Cup. He needs to come back and be healthy quickly. It's very, very important.
It is. And this is the time of year before, typically in a World Cup year, where we're always just kind of bracing for the injuries that happen late in the season just before that. And it's difficult, all these hamstring injuries. It's difficult for them as they're getting ready and playing all of these games. We had this conversation that can go on forever where all of the games and the fixtures will end up affecting some of these players going into the World Cup. You have Serge Gnabry, we had Hugo Ekitike. All of these players that were expected to star for their teams, their international teams, in the World Cup are now out. And this is one of these things where we look at it and we look at Lamine Yamal. We need to see him at the Cup.
Now you've got me going here. All right, let's talk about game management, right? Barcelona, Hansi Flick pressure on an 18-year-old kid to be successful for you. It hasn't quite happened for Lamine Yamal when it comes to the Champions League title. Domestically, it looks like they're going to absolutely clean up with the LaLiga title this year. Wonderful to see. But first and foremost, this is an 18-year-old kid. Yeah. By the way, who made his debut at what, 15, 16 years old? 16 years old. So in the last 3 years, if we look at the games played for Barcelona across all competitions, 3 seasons ago he played 50 games as an 18-year-old. That's ridiculous, first and foremost, across all competitions. Last year he played 55 games across all competitions. This year he's played 44 games across all competitions. What are we expecting? Yeah. At some point these kids are going to break down. You know what I mean? It's like a car. If you run it and run it and run it and don't put the right rest into it and the right maintenance into it and the right fuel into it, eventually it'll break down.
This is the conversation. This is the conversation that no one wants to have around football. But it's the conversation that's going to have to be had because it's going to affect the game that we love, and it's going to affect some of these players. Lamine Yamal is a generational talent.
Absolutely.
That can be a next Lionel Messi. That can be a Cristiano Ronaldo. But will he be able to because of the injuries, because of how many games he's played at such a young age?
He can learn a little bit from Lionel Messi by the way Messi actually plays games, right? I've watched Messi in person a number of times. He walks. Lamine Yamal doesn't walk, right? He's not that type of guy. He wants to sprint everywhere, be involved, pick up possession, take players on, battle, fight. He's not Messi, right? That's the problem. He's different. He wants to be able to run and sprint, and he wants to be active. He's 18 years old. Let's give him the opportunity to do so. But game management for players at 18 years old is becoming ridiculous. This guy's played 151 games professionally for Barcelona. 50 goals, by the way, 30 of them coming in LaLiga, which is a great achievement. But 151 games for a kid at 18 years old, in my opinion, is way too many games. This guy will play, I don't know, 500 games if he's going at this ratio before he hits 23 years old. That's unacceptable. And that's not even the games that he's played for Spain. Oh, by the way, he's won a trophy for them already. Yeah. He's hugely important to the world of football. We have to do something to protect our superstars. I don't want to see them getting injuries because of fatigue. Of course. But unfortunately, you know, we see so many games being thrown at these kids, left, right, and centre, from club and country. Right now, I'm actually in the middle of a module for UEFA right now, and they're asking my opinion. UEFA are asking my opinion. What can we do to improve the game? To me, I'm saying less games. If you want a better product, you need the best players. If we keep getting injuries to our best players, unfortunately, what's going to happen at the end of the day? The product's going to suffer.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen because they're not going to take away games because I don't see ownership of clubs doing that or leagues losing that revenue. Real Madrid on May 10th at El Clásico. That is the earliest that Barcelona can clinch the La Liga title. What a way to do it. They did it by beating their rivals at the Camp Nou. Will be very interesting to see.
You don't think that players are going to interfere at some point?
I hope so. I don't see strong of unions in some of the leagues that we have, like here in the United States. We have unions that protect these players they have clauses in their contracts. They can't play a certain amount of games. The scheduling needs to be made. I don't know if the unions are strong enough, if players have that kind of representation over in Europe. I don't know if they have that power. Maybe they have to bound together and do it, maybe, but it's going to be difficult in my opinion.
Money talks at the end of the day, which is why they're playing so many games. Players are shutting up because they're getting paid so much money right now at the highest level. Then it drops down to the levels below them. In the Championship in England right now, players are making £1 million a year. £1 million a year. And now all of a sudden you're playing, 46 games a season in league play, and then you've got 3 cup competitions to deal with after that. And you look at these players like Lamine Yamal, who are having to deal with multiple competitions. By the way, not in the same continent. You're having to travel to a different continent to play in a Super Copa game. It's ridiculous what's happening. Mark my words. I can guarantee you that player power will step up before sooner or later. And it might happen just after the World Cup.